All right, so now we've reached basically the last step of the guide, compiling the song into a playable file. I'll show you how to make an RB3 con, which is what's used by Rock Band 3 and also supported by YARG, yet another rhythm game. And the Onyx tool is also able to convert it to other formats like Guitar Hero and Clone Hero, but I don't use those that much, so I won't go into detail on those. At the end of this video, you will have a playable RB3con file, so you don't need to continue to another video beyond this if there's more in the playlist, since the majority of songs will just have the tempo mapping and 4 instruments, but there will be additional videos on how to do some bonus stuff. If you really want to polish off your chart, those will show adding harmonies in video 8, and in video 9, there'll be how to add venues with lighting and camera effects. This video, though, it assumes that you've downloaded Magma and Onyx from the first video in the series, the software setup, and finished charting this song with up to 4 instruments. These are required at minimum, Magma and Onyx, but as a bonus, I'll show you how to use Nautilus as well here, and I'll also show you how to use Rock Band 3 Deluxe in PS3 emulator to test out the game. Onyx is here, Magma's here, and Reaper, you're using that already. You should know about that. Lastly, mostly I'm going to show you how to export with 4 instruments, but in the case you skipped here because you're only charting 1 instrument, I will go over that a little bit, but there could be more specific information for doing a single instrument in the video 10, which will go over exactly how to export a song with only 1 track charted, and that song is just a keyboard track, so if you want to go there. But let's get started here. I'm going to show you how to do this now. So I'm going to minimize all these programs that I have up here. And we're just going to start in Reaper for now. I'm going to maximize this one. So between Reaper and Magma, you're going to want to get your project set up. So you've already created everything in Reaper. Your song is charted when you play it. You'll hear the music and it all lines up. You'll see all your notes here. When you double click on the part tracks, this should already be done. At least one of your tracks here should be done. Okay. When this is finished, you're going to go to File, Export, Project MIDI, and you're going to make sure that you have these things checked as I have it here. Entire project. You're going to want to check where you want to output this at. Usually the folder that you created previously, you want to just output it right to that same folder. You can name it whatever you like the artist and name of the song. Multi-track MIDI file should already be selected, and you will need to probably check this embed project tempo / time signature changes. So make sure everything's set like this and press OK. You get a message of how many tracks it exports. This is going to export all of the tracks that you don't have muted. So be aware that if you unmute certain tracks that aren't necessary, like if you have imported a MIDI file and you don't need it, just keep it muted because you don't want it to throw off the export of Magma whenever you put it into Magma, okay? So that's how you export the file. Let's go ahead and open it now in Magma. So you're going to want to open up Magma. The icon is going to look like this, Magma 4 Rock On. Older versions work as well too. When you double click and open it, you're going to see this window pop up here. Okay, so here's Magma. Within Magma, you're going to start filling in the details for the song. Okay, you should already know some of this, obviously, but for the rest of the details, you're going to want to look it up in Spotify or somewhere else online that gives you this information. I like to use Spotify. Of course, as I've said in the previous one, make sure you have permissions to do this from the artist. You will look up the artist and the song, click on it here. So in my case, it was Lonely Clean Soul. Select it. And you'll see it has the album and the this is the artist, this is the album, the year it was created. You're going to need to put this into Magma here, okay? So I'm going to start doing that now. This is a single, so it just has the one. If you click on the album, though, you can see if they have more songs. Usually this will be like track 3, 4, 5, or whatever. This one is track 1 here. Original release date 2026. If it's a remaster, you can do, if it's a re-release, you can do this and set the original date here. The genre for this is going to be soul, so I'm going to put R&B, soul, funk. Subgenre is going to be soul. Language, English, usually. I'll put my name here, the artist. You can leave this title and description as it is. Because I did the AI stem splitting with UVR, with Demux, I just select this DIY multi-track here, and you can select anything else that's applicable here if you've done some of these other options. Usually I select this too, as the cat scripts, when you press F9, has generated the easy, medium, and hard. But if you went back there and cleaned it up yourself manually, then you can uncheck it, if you've done additional work. Okay, so we've got that. Now the album art here, I usually take it straight from here. Again, make sure you have permissions. I usually click on the album picture, and then it won't let you select it. So you can either screenshot it and cut it out, or you can press F12, go to Developer Tools, click on the Inspect Element button, click on the album picture, and then you'll see in the source here the URL. So you can do that as well if you know how to do that. Open it up in another tab, and you'll get the URL for the image. You can also just get this from Google Images or wherever, but I like to get the real one. So I'm going to save this album art off into the folder that I made earlier. The name doesn't really matter. And you can either drag and drop it onto this right here. Okay, you can drag and drop it on there, or you can click on it and then select it here. Okay, so I'm going to drag it on there. Okay, that sets it. You can have two separate ones. You can have an icon and a big one. I always just keep these the same. All right, so that's our first thing there. Before we go any further, go ahead and save this project off, because this is pretty good that you got so far. So let's save this so we don't forget. So go to File, Save As. We're going to save it in our same folder. Name it whatever you like. It's going to append .rbproj to it. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to go over to, we'll just do this one at a time here. We're going to go to Audio. Now in this audio section here, we're going to need to get the tracks that we exported previously, but they need to have the offset that's applied in any effects that we have in Reaper itself. So I'm going to show you how to go through in Reaper and get each one of these exported out so we can use it, okay? So open up Reaper. Okay, now within Reaper, we're going to export out each one of these tracks here, the drums, bass, the audio themselves, the guitar, and the vocals. Okay, we only want these four. Now I'll show you the easiest way to do it is to hold Control and click on each one of these that you want to select, and then you're going to go to File, Consolidate / Export Tracks, and this will export them without any effects applied to it. So just be aware that if you have any effects here, they won't be applied. If you have any effects on your master, it won't be applied. You'll need to render the song to do that, which I'll show you later. But because usually when I get these from Spotify, they're already going to be normalized. The loudness on it will be normalized, and it'll be limited, so there won't be any like loud pops or anything. So it's usually pretty cleaned up. But if you want to render it later, I'll show you how to do that. But this is usually how I do it very quickly. So I'm going to select an output directory here. You'll press Browse. I put it into the tracks folder that I created earlier. This is going to have the original stems in there that I split out. But I'm going to make a subfolder in here so they're not mixed up together, called Export, and we're going to select that. Okay. Now you can, from here, make sure everything else is set the way it's set here. I usually have all this 44 100 hertz, 24-bit PCM wave. If it's not in this format, it's just going to end up, Magma's going to do it anyways, and it's going to convert it to this format. So all you need to do is press Process. Oh, make sure Tracks Selected is set, not Tracks All. That should be very quick. Usually, since it's not applying any effects, it's just applying this offset here, this empty space at the beginning. So now when I open this up and play it, it's going to have that exact amount of time at the beginning, and all these tracks are going to be synced up. If you don't do this step and you just drop in your tracks like from this tracks folder, they're not going to be synced up because they start immediately. So you need to get your exports here, and these are what we're going to use to put into Magma. Okay, if you listen to it, you'll see there'll be silence for a few seconds first before it plays anything. Okay, so we've got our tracks there exported. Let's open up Magma. Now for each one of these areas, we're going to import the track that we exported. So we're going to click the little three dots here next to it, go to tracks, exported. The first one is the drum kit. You're going to put it in the kit. Next one is bass. Next one is guitar. Continue to click the dots on the side. And for vocals, finally, this one. In this video, I have all four here. If you only have one, just do one, but I'll show you that later too. Okay, so we got all four there. So that's good. I'll go over the dry vocals in a second. For backing, you can uncheck that for now because we don't need it as well. All right, so you got your four tracks here. If you press play, you should be able to hear these play together, and it should be synced up. It just takes a while to load the first time, but after that, it's fast. Okay, and you can set your preview start time. Usually I go in here and find a good spot where it would start at and sounds good, maybe where the chorus would start. So I can open up like the vocals and see, like here maybe. So I click on this and I say, okay, this is 1 minute and 1 second. Cool, so then I'll go back to Magma and I'll put in here 1 minute, 1 second, and if there's any milliseconds, if you want to be super precise, you can put that in there. See? So it starts exactly where you want it. You want your preview end to be about 30 seconds after that time. So you're going to put like 1:31. But I like to go about 30 seconds further in the track and see where would be a good time for it to cut off, so it doesn't cut off at like a weird spot too. It doesn't take much time to do that. So I'm going to cut right here at 131.5. That's pretty good actually. 500 milliseconds. All right, so that's how you do your preview. Okay, I usually leave audio quality at 3. That's fine. You don't need to change the audio quality. Okay, very good. Now, one additional thing you can do to make the intro not come in so fast for players is to have this count in here. They included this because when you play the song, it's going to pop up and then they're going to get notes, right off the bat that might surprise them. So what we're going to do here is add some intro hi-hats so they know when it starts. Okay. Let's see if I have an example of that. Let me show you real quick. Okay, so this is a typical Countin that you'll hear on a lot of rock band songs. This comes with an older template I have. You're usually going to have one like this, each half note, and then one on each quarter note until the song starts, usually on 3.1, but it may be up here or differently. I would almost always use the hi-hat, but you can also do other stuff, but I almost always use the hi-hat. Now, if you don't have these files, which you're probably not because I didn't provide them, if you do, you just paste them into the track right here, okay? But I'm going to show you how it can be nice to get it directly from the tracks themselves, from the drummer, if there's a spot where he's using like only the hi-hat, right, or something like that. So I'm going to solo out this kit audio, and we're going to find a spot that we can steal one of his instruments, basically. Like that right there is maybe a single hi-hat isolated, so it's good, right? So I'll probably use that. But if you see anything else over here that's like strictly hi-hats or strictly rides by itself, like an interlude or something, you can use that. And whatever sound you like, or you can always use a sample instrument too, and like just download one from somewhere and throw it in there, okay? But I'm gonna use this one. I'll show you how to do it. Quickly, I'm gonna use Control and drag this up here to make a copy, okay? And then I'm gonna zoom in. So you're gonna click here, you're gonna press S to split the track, like before and after it. So S will split it up, or you can also just resize it. Delete everything around it, and I'm gonna shrink this down to just right where this waveform is. I'm gonna hold Shift, and so I don't need to snap anymore. I can hold Shift so it's not snapping. Okay, I'm gonna solo the Countin track now. Okay, so we want this to line up pretty closely, so let's do that. Cut this off here. Okay, and we're gonna make this pretty short so we can put as many of them as we need at the beginning. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna close my Docker at the bottom. We're gonna move this to the front of the song here. Okay, and I'm going to copy this and paste it. Here's the half notes, then these are the quarter notes leading up to it. Okay, so now your intro should sound like this. Okay, now I know my song, the beat starts on 3.1, but you see I have some intro drums here. So I probably will even get rid of this one right here, okay? But I'll show you what it sounds like. You see, so that's good. So that way the drummer or whoever else starts off, they're not jump scared by it. So I'm gonna delete this one right here. And let's see if make sure it still sounds good. Cool. So now he knows when to start. So that's how you do your counting. Okay. Now we're gonna render this Countin with the rest of the tracks here. It's recommended that you render your Countin. And what I mean by render is we're gonna like burn these two tracks together. We're gonna merge them when we export it. They recommend you export it with the guitar track, because if the drummer plays a lot of notes at the beginning, you know how when the song first starts up and if the drummer goes crazy before the song starts, it immediately mutes anything in the track up until the next note. So if you put this in this drum track here and they start playing notes, then you won't hear any of this Countin. So yeah. That's all mentioned on the authoring guide. That'll be linked as well. If you need any help on there, it's there. So let's render this Countin with the guitar track. Okay. Here's how we're going to do that. Solo the Countin, solo the guitar audio. Now these two will play together. Okay. Now we're going to render these by going to File, Render. And this will render everything with all the effects applied and everything as it's selected. Make sure that when you do this render, be aware of any effects that you have on the master track that are going to affect this file output. For me, I like to turn these off because the problem is if you render this with these volume adjustment, but then previously you did consolidate export tracks without the effects applied of the master track, you're going to have two different volumes. And I've had a lot of problems with that. So I turn all this FX off because my song is already cleaned up in Spotify. They already do the loudness normalization and volume adjustment. So all my songs are consistently the same volume. But if they're not, and you had to do some work in Audacity and stuff, you know, just make sure that all your songs are, I mean, all your tracks are output with the same FX supply, okay? But I turn mine off. So when it renders the same way as if I would have done consolidate export tracks. And also you may have effects on your tracks individually, like these limiters and stuff. Just be aware of what you have going on. So File, Render, the output directory, select, I'll put in my tracks folder as well, tracks exported that I made earlier. Okay, file name doesn't really matter. You want to do bounds entire project. Make sure your sample rate here matches what you did previously, 44-100, 24-bit PCM. Basically just have it all set as I have it here. Yep, and then you're just going to press render file. And this is going to merge those two tracks together, the Countin and the guitar audio, because I have them both soloed, so that's all you're going to hear. That's all this is hearing, okay? We're going to double check it. I'm going to go in there and listen to it real quick. It should only be guitar here. All right. So now we have our Countin and our guitar audio merged together, and that's the file that we're going to use now for our guitar track instead of the just the guitar by itself. Cool. So we're going to go back into Magma, and in the guitar track here, I'm going to change it to this one. Okay. Sometimes I like to name this something better than that. Okay. You should still be able to press play. I woke up in the middle of the night and I know and hear your guitar. And the guitar should still be loud. Make sure that your guitar is not quieter because you left the FX on up here. If the guitar sounds muted or something, you probably have some FX going on somewhere. So just be careful with that. But you should hear, let's see if I do the preview at 0, 0, if the Countin is there. Okay. So now we have our Countin there. I am going to go back quickly and lower the volume of that. So let me do that, just so it's not so loud at the beginning. I'm just going to move this down over here, and hopefully that export's a bit quieter there. So I'm going to do that. Also, there may be like AI artifacts noise in this. If it sounds funky, you know, it may be better to just use a sample. Like, most people are not going to care that this is the same hi-hat or ride or whatever that the drummer is using. So okay, let's export it again. Render. I'm going to change the name this time. Overwrite. It's already selected here, so you shouldn't need to make any change. Let me see if it sounds any better. Yeah, so that's good. I like it when it's pretty quiet like that, so it doesn't sound like worst thing you want is the drummers like, why is there notes playing but I'm not playing anything, you know? Or why is there music but there's no notes? Forgot what I had here, I think 50. Okay, so that's the Countin. So you've got this kit, bass, guitar, and Countin vocals. Dry vocals. For dry vocals, easiest way is to just right click on this empty space right here and just do convert vocal stem to dry vox. This just makes into like a 16-bit PCM wave that can be processed. The lip syncing is generated automatically. There are a few different ways to do it. The easiest way is what I did right there, where it just takes the AI stem and just turns into dry vocals. The other way is to go here and record it at any point in this track. It doesn't have to be here, but you can do it here. You can sing it yourself. You can press record, and on your input, you know, change it to record your voice, and then you can sing it yourself, and then export it, render it like that, or use a built-in recorder on your computer or whatever, and try to be very clear. It doesn't have to be the right pitch, but just try to be very clear when you enunciate, and the singer's lips will move a lot better, a lot cleaner to the song. So a lot of times I'll do that if there's a lot of noise on the vocal track. This one, I don't know how clear it's going to be, but I'm not going to do it for this video, of course. I have nobody. So it's fine, it's loud. You know, I'm not going to sing the whole song on this video. So that's the other way. That's the second method. The third way is that you can actually edit the actual, like, there's a .milo, like a voice lip syncing file you can edit manually. I've seen people go into Blender and do that, and it's pretty advanced, so you can do that as well. But I usually just do this on like 3/4 of my songs. I'll just do this. So there's a few different ways to do dry vocals, but I just right click this and convert vocal stem to dry vox. If you want to output from here, when you do your dry vox, like if you're going to sing it and do it here, or in another program, you need to, when you render it, you have to go to sample rate 16,000 hertz, change channels to mono, and wave bit depth 16-bit PCM, okay? And make sure whenever you come back here later, you revert it, but when you render your dry vocals, it has to be set like that, or it won't work. And you'll get an error in Magma, it'll tell you. Okay? So that's dry vocals. You don't need this backing crowd, since we already have 4 tracks. If you have only 1 track here, it's going to complain, so you're going to need to fill these with empty. So let's say you only did just the drums. You would uncheck these other ones here, and then you would put for backing and crowd, you need 3 tracks minimum, or it won't export, so then you'll need 3 selected. The backing, sometimes you'll use this if the song, let's say if you do a 6-stem split and it has piano, well then on the 6th stem, like you'll have guitar, bass, drums, and vocals, and then the keyboard, and then there'll be a 6th track that's exported, which is just like noise, like anything else, violins or whatever that the stem splitter determined is additional. You'll need to ensure that that is here in the backing section. So like on a song where I have split everything, you'll see song audio is where you'll put your extra noise, extra instruments that weren't split. And then in Magma here, you're going to put the backing, you're going to select that song audio that you exported there. Okay, crowd is the sing along parts for the crowd. Like if the crowd is going to be singing along to the music, then you'd put that here. But most of the time, you're not going to have a crowd track, like a live audience that's singing along to the song specifically for that. So normally this is going to be empty too. But if you're only doing one track, you're going to right click one of these and do 44.1 kilohertz stereo silence 24-bit to match the rest of it. This has to match whatever the rest of yours are set to. It's most likely going to be this one. And this one won't let me generate it, so you're just going to copy and paste this over here. It's the same thing. Okay. Then when you build the song, it won't give you any problems about these being blank, and you can just do one track like that. Okay. But we're not doing that in this case, so I'm going to uncheck these. Video 10 does go over one track audio export to see an example of that, but I'm not going to show that here that much. Okay, so that shows that. Now let's move on to the game data tab. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 selected. Okay, here's where you're going to put your MIDI file in that we made earlier. So click the 3 dots there, select the MIDI file .mid. Okay, that's there. I'm going to leave it for now. Auto generation theme, it dictates the auto generator of the lights and like any post-processing effects. For this one, I'm going to do Dusty Vintage probably. Your venue will be auto-generated, so in most cases, I don't go back and do venues unless it's a really interesting song, because this is going to automatically do all that lights and everything, okay? Go down here to animation speed. This song is 90 BPM, so we're going to select something in that range. Slow, under 100. I'm going to do medium slow because it's kind of a little bit upbeat. These medium and medium fast here, they won't show up on older versions of Magma, but so I'll do that. Hopo threshold 170 tick, that's what we have set previously in here, but this is what will be respected, this note. If the band fails, it'll have a different sound effect. I usually leave that. Vocal gender, make sure you set that. Vocal percussion, in this song, what would sound best? Probably tambourine. The vocal scroll speed, depending how tight together your lyrics are. I mean, you can kind of look, if you go back to Reaper and go on your part vocals track, or press F8 to open up your vocals preview. Press the right square bracket to get to part vocals. And then kind of look, if you have any like rap parts or something, you can see, you know, there's not that many tight together phrases, so it can scroll at normal speed. But if it is, and you're having to press the plus or minus key to stretch the track, then you say, okay, if I need to go this faster or slower, I need to make this faster or slower, then you'll do that in Magma. If there's like a lot of rap parts, you might want to speed up the track so that they can have space to spread out. And if it's a very slow song, of course, do slow. So this one I'm going to do medium slow. Leave these alone, leave this alone, this. Song rating, I'm going to put supervision because there's some cursing in here. Vintage, I'll probably do vintage. Drum kit SFX is what plays whenever they have the drum fills, like when they go to activate their overdrive. This is what dictates the sound there. Most people leave these alone. Some of them can sound kind of weird, like the electronic kit. But if the song is electronic, then use that. Is there any solos in this song? Looks like this is automatically going to be checked based on what it determines in the MIDI file. There's guitar, bass, and there's vocal percussion as well. So the vocal percussion sound here is going to play whenever they hit their mic. You're going to set your difficulties here on the side. I'm going to put these based on what I remember I did. This is kind of harder for vocals. Then the band here. Okay, so let's just do like that for now. I guess you can do like these in between ones, you know, but like you can really adjust it, but I don't know if anybody does that. I don't do that. So that's all set. If you only have one instrument, then you don't have to worry about setting these. Like if you go back to audio and you uncheck bass, for example, bass won't allow you to select it. And an interesting thing to note is that the UI on these can get messed up if you reload this project. If I close this project and reopen it, these values won't appear properly, and you gotta move your mouse over it like this in order to get them to appear properly. It's kind of weird. Same with this animation speed. This is going to become reset when you reopen this project. So you have to come back here and make sure this is good, and then make sure these are good if you do reopen this project. It's just a glitch in the program. Now we're going to begin testing the MIDI file to see if it's good to go. Because if you go to press build right now, you're going to get errors. I'll show you. If I press build, it's going to say this. This is about the backing audio. It doesn't matter. Audio distortion. They're both empty, so if you see this, ignore it. Harmony 2 must not be empty because I have Harmony 2 not muted in my game over here. So, but you'll see there's going to be error. Oh, here, because it's selected. So unselect these two. And these ones doesn't even matter because they were unchecked anyways. Okay, but you'll see that it's going to give me errors here. So these are the type of errors you're going to get when you build. Okay, so you can press test instead of going straight to build, and it'll give you the same errors so you can see if your MIDI file is good to go or not. So let's take a look if it's good. Here's an example of the output. When you get this, what you're usually going to do is you're going to copy this to the clipboard and you're going to paste it into a text document. Okay, because when this is open, you can't click on anything else. It's like a modal. So I'm going to paste this over here, and then as I go back into Reaper to clean some of this stuff up, our first error is this one. We're going to leave this on the side and start beginning to clean up those errors. Now the first one is going to be this cannot parse event 0 times 50. This is a time signature problem. It's a problem with my template here, and basically like some older MIDI, these tempo maps here, these time signatures, I believe they come in like kind of wrong. If that happens with you, you're just going to go to clean here. So you're going to click clean. You're going to click OK to send it to the Nautilus MIDI cleaner. I already have it open, so it's going to give me that warning. When this opens up, you want to use this options that say, for me, I don't like it changing the chart that I just made at all. So I turn off this capitalization errors. I allow these MIDI notes, and I want to have the detailed logging on as well. So I know absolutely what's happening. And you can leave these two checked down here. You're just going to press begin. Now it removes that 0 times 50 hex code there that has a problem. Okay, so you see that's one of the problems we have, and it also went ahead and did some extra things here that we had issues on our lyrics. Okay, so I like to fix these on my own before this goes in here and does it on it by itself, because if it fixes your issues for you, it can do it in a weird way where notes might just start missing from the song. So you don't want this to really show anything other than this, like the smallest amount of changes. So it has removed this for me, which is fine, but I'm going to keep in mind to go back and fix those other things. Okay. Now when you press test, it's going to test the cleaned up MIDI file, and it created a dirty MIDI file in that same directory right there. Okay, so that's your original MIDI file, but you don't really need it. Okay, so now we have a proper information. We have more errors. This is rough, you know, you're doing this MIDI testing part. When you first start doing this, it's going to be like a lot of errors. As you get better at it, you might not get any errors when you export. You might only get a couple, and it'll be super fast to export. It's just the first time it's going to give you a headache. Okay, I'm going to copy these to clipboard, and I'm going to paste it in here, and we're going to go back in and start fixing all these things. Okay, so first one is missing lyrics inside of Harm 2. Okay, we don't have harmonies in this yet, so we're going to get rid of all those by muting those tracks out. Okay, let's do that. And harm 1 doesn't need to be there. Okay. The template should already come with these muted. I'm not sure why maybe I unmuted them at some point in my video. Vocals, we have a vocal note that's 10, 3, 4. That's outside of any vocal phrases. Double click part vocals. It'll indicate in the measure here. So this is 10, measure 10, 3, the third beat there, 240. So around here, 10, 3, 240, it's going to be this one. I'm going to turn off my FX so you don't hear that noise. That note right here, this one is outside of any vocal phrases. If you look up here, the phrase marker, I can hide some of these by right-clicking and doing view, show hide note rows, hide unused and unnamed note rows, so they're closer together. I also don't need to see the other tracks other than vocals right now, so I'm going to turn off those. You'll see that this phrase marker isn't capturing this vocal, so you need to slide this up to capture that. Okay, 52.3, same thing. We're going to go to 52.3. Okay, I'm not sure what it's seeing here. 473. Oh, this one right there. So we're going to move this back a little bit. 62.1. This is kind of why you want to quantize things too and make sure that they're inside. Move that back a bit. And 78.4. Okay, I think I left this one on purpose. Maybe not. Extends beyond vocal phrase. This one, if you really zoom in, you hold Alt and zoom in, you see it barely overlaps it. Like the other guy who makes the videos, Truth said, God forbid that this thing overlaps by the slightest tiny bit. It will give you a problem. Okay. And it says vocal notes exist, but no vocal phrases found. Okay. We have vocal phrases here. That may be from a different track. We'll come back to that. Harmony 2, ignore that because I muted that now. And these events I'm going to go over here in a moment because I skipped a step in the video that I'm going to go back to. Okay, so now we're going to save off this Reaper file here. I'm surprised I don't have any issues in these other ones, but they might pop up here after it gets through this because sometimes it crashes early and it won't fix all the issues. So you're just going to file, export project MIDI. You're just going to press OK, leave all the settings the same as it is. Now you can go back into Magma and press retest again without changing anything. It's going to give me this problem with this, so I'm going to clean it really quick. Clean, click, 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 press begin. Okay, remove that. Good, I'm going to press test. Okay, so we got a little more progress. So now we're only getting errors on these events here, which I'm going to show you now. The reason the harmony ones got fixed is because I turned off these harmony ones, and then the other lyrics, I stretched them out to get them within there. You may get plenty of errors with your other tracks, which I might still get later, but basically you just do what it tells you to do. Make sure things aren't overlapping on these tracks. Make sure unison phrases and overdrive aren't messing up with each other, and you should be okay. But we'll see if we get any more there. So now I'm going to go over the events that this is wanting us to do here. The music start, music end event, and the whole end event. So close this. We're going to go into Reaper. Come here. And double click on your events track. And in here, you need to add events that tell Rock Band when the song starts and ends. Usually 3 is going to be your music start event, and I usually put this in my template either. I also save this off. So you're going to double click here on the bottom and add a text event. Make sure it says text event there. In brackets, you're going to put music underscore start. This is in the C3 authoring guide as well. But usually after I add this, I save this as a template, you know, without all the other song stuff in here, right? Like earlier on in the project, save it as a template. That way you don't have to do this every time because it's almost always going to start at 3-1. So I'm going to put that there. In this case, I'm going to put it back a little bit more just to cover the actual start here, this drums that's leading in. So I'll put it right there. Okay, but usually it's going to be 3-1. And at the end of the music, you're going to put a music end. Okay, so it's like right around here. Okay. So the game knows when the music stops. it won't cut it out or anything like that, but let's see. But it needs to be there. And then you're going to have the actual end where you want all the tracks to drop off the screen. All of the lanes, I should say. So we're going to do that with brackets and put end like that. Okay. So usually you only have to move those music end and end like that. Okay. And it's okay if it's off the edge of the events track. Sometimes because you've stretched it, it'll be like this and it won't show up. That's okay. It's actually still there. It's just like on the very cusp of the end there. So it's fine. Cool. So we've got those that we've added in. There's some more. This is enough for the events track right now. You're going to leave alone the venue, camera, and lighting. I'll do that in another video. But this is all you really need for the events track. Let's see. But one big thing that can be really nice to do, it's not a requirement on here, is to go in and add the practice sections. So I'll show that really quickly, but let me go ahead and export this. But it's not required, so it shouldn't give me any errors. If I press clean, again, close this, test. So before I go on to this beat error here, which is another thing that we need to do, I'll show you the practice sections really quickly that you can also add in the events track, and then I'll go back to the beat error in the end, which is this beat track here. So practice sections, this helps the auto generator create the theme, so it's kind of important. I would do this with each one of your songs. Definitely recommend it if you're not going to do like manual themes like animations and lighting. Put in the practice sections so that way the auto generator at the very least knows like when to change the lightings for the chorus, the verse, hooks, or some solos, things like that. Is kind of dictated by these practice events, and this is of course how they show up in the game as practice events. So how you're going to do these is find the lyrics to the song with the different parts annotated. So I like to go on Google, search for the lyrics of the song. This is a cover, so this is a cover of this Lonely by Akon song. Go into the Genius version, I usually like to go into because it has these annotations with chorus, interlude, verse, like that. If it doesn't have it, fine, you just got to figure it out on your own. Okay. Then I'm going to leave this up on the side here. And I'm going to go through the song with the lyrics visible. So I'm going to press F8 to show the lyrics, press the right square bracket to get over to part vocals. And I'm going to go through the song and put the practice sections based on what this says. The beginning is usually going to be intro, and all the practice sections that you can put down here, they're going to be in this track here, are going to be listed in this all practice sections from this C3 Universe guide here, okay? So the first one we're going to put is PRC intro, practice section intro. So on the bottom I double clicked, and I'm going to put PRC intro with the brackets spelled exactly the same. I'm going to play it. I'm going to turn off my solo here, make sure I can hear the whole song. Okay, so this is the intro. Okay, now I'm going to just skip ahead to where like the first part of the lyrics start. You can show the vocals here if you want, but it may not be important. Let's see. Okay. So this is the very first word here. And this starts off with a chorus, right? So we're going to do practice section chorus. You can search here, Control F, and search. We'll do this as intro chorus. You can just pick whatever suits best, but usually you're going to do like these ones, PRC chorus. So I'm going to do PRC chorus, intro chorus A. The numbers are like the different choruses, but the letters are a different section in that within that same chorus. So okay, so I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit here and get a PRC intro chorus B. Oh, I'm so lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. Okay. I'll put the second part here. It's just for, it just segments this out. So if you want to go back and practice this song, you only have to play through the sections that you want to play through, you know.
I am so lonely.
So now a different part of the song starts here, the interlude. So,
Yo, this one here goes out to all my players.
right, so we're going to put it somewhere in here. You're going to put PRC interlude. There's only one interlude in the song, I believe. So if there was two, then I would do 1A, and then on the next one I would do 2A, 2B, 2C, etc. But this one is just one interlude, so I'm going to do just A again. I'm assuming you probably want to have these like on the beats, you know, or on the measure. Okay, skip through a little bit here.
They got that one good girl, Lord, that's always been there, man. Like,
Let's put here. And you might think, well, this is extra work. Why would I do this? But it's good for the auto generation theme, at least, so that way it looks clean whenever the auto generator does the lights and stuff like that. And you don't have to go through A, B, and all that if you don't want to. Just at least put verse, chorus, intro, and then.
yeah.
Okay, this is verse 1, and I put A because I like to do the subsections like that. You search here. When you first get started, you won't know these off the top of your head. You'll search in here and say, okay, this one exists. Make sure it's here. If you mess it up, it'll give you an error anyway, so you'll know where you typed it wrong.
I was fiending, so I had to take a little ride.
Cool, so this is going to be the second part of that. Verse 1B. Skip ahead a little bit.
Crashing and I'm so long.
This is probably the chorus again. Yep. So we're going to put chorus here. This is the first chorus, besides the intro chorus. So I'm going to put 1A.
Nobody for my own. To call my own. Girl.
Okay, PRC chorus. 1B.
Girl, I'm so lonely. So lonely. I miss the for my own. To call my own.
This is verse 2 probably.
Can't believe it.
Yep. Feel free to skip ahead if you need to. This is basically the process for this part.
What really hurt me? What really hurt me is without you in my life, girl. I'm so long. Girl. Girl.
Okay, yep, chorus 2A.
I have nobody for my own. To call my own. Nobody for my own. To call my own. Only been on.
Verse 3. Probably. Yep.
We'll be out chasing you, 'cause ain't no.
3B.
Ain't nowhere in the lonely, but now so lonely. So
Chorus 3A.
to call my own. I'm so to call my own. Never thought.
Another verse. Oh, remember front verse. 4, yep. A lot of times there'll be a bridge here or something like that, but this doesn't have any.
You to call my phone. So stop playing, girl, and come on home, baby. Crazy 'cause I'm lonely. So long, 'cause I'm lonely.
This may be the outro chorus. Let me see. Run chorus 3 now. I'm gonna put this as outro chorus. And if you ever get a bridge or an interlude or a hook or something like that, you can kind of search what that means. If you're not good at music theory, you can look it up and figure out what it might be, but it really helps when this kind of lists for you and says, oh, this is a hook, this is interlude, this is a bridge. It'll kind of tell you. If you have a solo, of course, you'll put guitar solo, guitar intro, breakdowns, things like that. It's a massive list. You're not going to use 99% of that list. All right.
Mr. Lonely.
All right, sweet. So we got all our practice sections there, and that should be good to go. Okay, save it. I'm going to export the MIDI file again. There's going to be one more thing that I already know it's going to give me a problem with, which we saw earlier. This beat error right here. We didn't generate this beat track. This is like a 10-second thing to fix right here. Once your end is set on your events here, music end and end like this, make sure that's set already. There's a beat track here that, see, it's not extended all the way towards the end. This beat track is what dictates the hand clapping from the audience, the way that they clap, the way that they like make sound, right? So this will automatically be on the tempo already, but you need it to be stretched out all the way to the end to where this end marker is. Instead of having to copy these over and copy and paste and do it manually, or shorten it in the case that your song is less than this template, you just press F9 and open up these cat tools again, right? This, you've seen this earlier in actions, cat right here, right? And you're just simply going to click on create beat track and just press create beat track again, and it's automatically going to fill that in for you. So it's like a 10-second thing. Then you'll be good to go. Okay, let's export the MIDI again. File, export project MIDI. Go back to Magma. I'm gonna need to press clean every time because remember, I already know that I have this error here. So unfortunately, I have to do this every time. This may be because of the version of Reaper I use, I'm not sure either. This one, I kind of want to save this off to, I don't know, 20, let's see. Okay, so test, everything is good here. That's what you want to see whenever you're done, okay? So that's all good to go. The lyrics, I made some mistakes on, so I'm gonna go back and check that out here. I accidentally put a hashtag at the beginning of this for this unpitched vocals. It's supposed to be like this. But I'm gonna go in and fix this in my actual lyrics file that I have, so that way if I ever come back here in the future, that I won't have this problem. So it's right here. I'm gonna remove that and resave it, and I'm gonna select all here, Control A, and press Shift L again to load the file. You've already seen this demonstrated in the lyrics video, but you probably don't gonna have this issue. Just reload that. So now that word goes away. The other error it said I had, you could skip this if you don't really have lyrics problems like I'm having right now. I'm just gonna do this quickly. The other problem here is this, so the dots. Yeah, I guess get rid of these, makes sense. You usually do want to do a Control H on your lyrics anyways and remove all dots, and change it to empty space. So if I do this, replace the dots with nothing, then that should clear that up. So let's see, and then reload that. That's it. Sometimes this will mess with your capitalization too, and that's why I turned off that. Whenever I go to the cleaner, I uncheck that so it doesn't deal with, because I don't mind my capitalization. Usually I handle it on my own where the first parts of the phrase are capitalized, but if you want to do the capitalization with the script, you can also use this capitalization script with F9. There's like a lot of vocal options here. I don't use most of these, but it can help you automatically capitalize things with this button here and some of the other utilities that are nice. So anyways, let's export that again. Hopefully we have no issues and nothing caught by the cleaner. So I'm gonna press clean. Let's see what it says now. Okay, no issues. Only that one issue that I have all the time. So when I press test, it should be good. Sometimes you'll press test and it'll error because you have a track that you didn't include in the MIDI file, but you don't want to include it anyways. For example, like you don't want to do the bass, but you left the bass, so you muted the bass here, and you said, well, I don't want to do the bass. If you muted this, then it's going to complain in test mode, but it won't complain when you actually build the song. So like if I were to save this now and then export it with the bass muted, and then I go and test it, it's going to give you a hard time, regardless of you having bass unchecked there. Right here where it says could not find MIDI track authored for bass because I muted it. I didn't want it, right? This will also occur if you have the track name flag here at the beginning that's missing. Like there's supposed to be this track name. Where is it even at? Okay, I had a little issue right there where these cat tools were open in the background, so like none of the keys were working on Reaper. If that's open in the background, then like literally nothing is gonna work here. So make sure that's closed because that threw me off. Now let's fix this part bass track here that I messed up. So this goes to the very beginning here, and at the very beginning you need to have, not only does this need to be unmuted, but you also need to have this track name here where it says part guitar, part on this one is going to be part bass. So I'm going to put that there. And I also accidentally deleted my idle marker, I believe. Or in this case, he plays immediately, so I'm going to put this to mellow because I deleted that on accident. But so if those are missing when you go to do your track, you go to File, Export, then you're going to have an error about that, like I just showed you. But see, here's part guitar twice, right? You can also have that, so tracking has to be correct. Okay. All right, so now I've unmuted it and it's all good to go again. And let's see, it shouldn't give me any issues. Okay, clean. But anyways, if that's muted and you don't want the bass track, or you don't want any of the tracks for that matter, and this says, well, we don't have the bass, don't worry about it, just press build anyways, and it's going to go ahead and build it regardless of what the test says. So the test checks certain things, but the build button just skips and ignores other things. Okay, so if the test doesn't work, sometimes you can just get through by just pressing build, okay? So let's see. This test button doesn't respect what you have checked here, basically. So it says it's all clean, it's all good, so let's go ahead and press build and see what happens. Sweet, if you get here, that means everything's good. So we built the RB3 con, that's what this is doing right now. It does the lip syncing and all that. While this is building, I usually like to open up Onyx and get ready to do the final steps on it to test it out, to play test it. Okay, at the end you should see this, if everything went well. The naming of this RB3 con is pretty picky too, so I just kind of leave it squeezed together and short like that because it has all kind of restrictions on spaces and length and all that, but it doesn't really matter later on because I'm going to rename it later anyways. So in our root folder that we created here, you're going to see now an RB3 con here that was generated. This file should be good to go. If you open this with Onyx, you should see a preview and everything if everything went well. So we're going to go to Onyx. You're going to open this. You download this in the first setup video. You should have it already on computer. Open it, click load song, and then go to the folder, go to the RB3 con, select it. And here it is. Okay, you'll have all the stuff that you put. Make sure the English is still checked here. Sometimes this comes off. Don't mess with the genre and subgenre here. Leave it, even though it looks funky. That's how it's mapped in the game. Don't mess with anything else. I just go straight to preview and take a look. You'll see all these lines here that show our practice sections that we made, and you can press play and see a preview of the whole song. So this is really nice. See, this version, the newest version of Onyx, even has the lyrics to the top, which is pretty cool. It lags a little bit at startup, but then it's smooth. Just make sure it mostly lines up with the latency. This one should pretty much line up. But if you get this, you're in great shape. Okay, now from here, the RB3 con is pretty much good. It's generated already with an ID and everything. When you generate it in game data, this ID right here has to be unique versus all the other songs that exist that have been created by other charters and rock bands. So this one generates new ones for you. Every time you generate it, it increments the version. Every time you make a new one, it does a new ID. However, when I go in here in Onyx, if you create another one, it's going to overwrite the ID. So I do that anyways, but just be aware that that's changing when you go in here and do these steps that I'm about to show you. Okay, so after you've come in here, RB3 con's generated, you checked your preview. Next thing you're going to do is go here and press, in my case, create Xbox 360 con file. I just do it again because I've had errors in the past where this file actually isn't good to go and it doesn't show up properly. So I just go ahead and regenerate it anyways. When I do this, you're going to lose the song ID. It's going to be a random one. That works, but just be aware that that's what happens. After I do this, okay, the file is good to go for Rock Band. Now, one more thing to get it good for YARG is the decrypt mogs. You're going to need to do this. So close that, go to quick convert /pack, and then you can either drag and drop in here, or you can add Rock Band song and select it. Okay, this is the one. Now this one, we're going to press decrypt mogs on it. Otherwise, YARG is going to think that it's copyright or something like that. So you need to do that. Just literally check that and press start, and that's it. Now, at this point, RB3 con is really done. Like, you're done. At this point, you can use it in YARG. You can put it on your Xbox. Okay. If you want to do a pack creator for PS3, then you can do that here by, for your PS3 emulator, you can go through these options and do it here as well. But I don't do it through here. I'll show you the way I do it usually. But first, I'm going to show you with your new RB3 con file how to test it in YARG and Rock Band 3 Deluxe. So I don't usually use YARG that much, but it's super simple. Obviously, you just drop this RB3 con. Since it supports RB3 cons now, you just drop this into your songs folder here and then start it up, whatever version you got. Okay, you go to your settings, scan songs. It's going to show up with additional song there. Go to quick play. Go to the song we just made right here. Beautiful. So there you see it. And I've already set up all my instruments and put it on like no fail mode, so you can do that. I just press ready on each one, and you'll see it in here. YARG can be nice to see the hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff like that, because those won't show up in Rock Band 3 Deluxe later. So if you got here, then congratulations. You're good to go. All right, so that's how it's done in here. Now I'm going to show you how to do it in Rock Band 3 Deluxe in RPCS3, the PS3 emulator. You can also do it in different emulators. You can do Dolphin emulator for Wii and other ones like that. But I use RPCS3, so you're going to open up RPCS3. And now to test this in RPCS3, you're going to do load a song like you did previously on this file, or you can drag and drop it over onto the button of load a song, and then go to RB3. And I like to, this is the easiest way, click on create PS3 RPCS3 folder. I have a bookmark I'm on already, but you're going to navigate to your the folder where you've installed it, and you're going to select dev_htd0, and there's other guides for this on YouTube. Select that folder and then press start. It's going to push this file into the folder there, like that, automatically, and name it. And setting up this RPCS3 thing with Rock Band 3 Deluxe, there's separate guides on that. That's a whole process, and I ran into a lot of bugs trying to get this set up. It's kind of tough. It's tough for me. So, but anyways, while that's copying over, you can start this. You can launch this by double clicking on it or pressing play. All right. Now when this runs, you should see your song file here inside, and this is what I used to generate the chart previews. So when I release the song to the public, put it on Rhythmverse or whatever, and I want to attach a song preview to it, I use this at a high resolution. I've already set up my controllers as they need to be. Each one of these is on a different keyboard binding for me, but you can set them up for controllers however you want. You have to look at another guide for that because it's kind of involved, or I can make one in the future. But just start it up, and I'll go to my modifiers, go to autoplay, turn that on, rejoin in. Then I go to play now, quick play, choose songs. You'll see it's listed right there. This is how it should appear. Okay, I'm gonna get in there, and now I'm gonna start bringing in my other instruments. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. And if you gotta put on all instruments mode sometimes for the harmony, but this one doesn't have it right now. Okay. Now before I press go, I'm gonna record this so I can have it ready to go later on when I do my chart preview. So I'm gonna record this, and I'm gonna play this whole song all the way through. The resolution is not gonna be correct anymore because I play with my screen so much here. But I just press Windows G and then record. Can't believe I'm getting rickrolled right now in the video. So I'm gonna record this whole song. You can skip ahead if you want. You don't need to watch this, but I'm just gonna record this just so I can post it later if I do release this song. I'll also show this video in the intro of the intro of the guide.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody for my own. Oh, I'm so lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody for my own. I am so lonely. Yo, this one here goes out to all my players out there. You know, they got that one good girl, Lord, that's always been there, man. Like, took all the bullshit, but then one day she can't take it no more and decides to leave. Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and I noticed my girl wasn't by my side. Could have sworn I was dreaming, for I was fiending, so I had to take a little ride. Backtracking over these few years, trying to figure out what I do to make it go back. 'Cause ever since my girl left me, my whole life came crashing, and I'm so lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody but now so lonely. So lonely. Still lonely. I have nobody to call my own. I'm so lonely. So lonely. Still lonely. I have nobody to call my own. Never thought that I'd be alone. I didn't think you'd be gone this long. I just want you to call my phone. So stop playing, girl, and come on home. Baby girl, I didn't mean to shout. I want me and you to work it out. I never wish to ever hurt my baby. And it's driving me crazy cause I'm lonely. So lonely. I miss the lonely. So lonely. I have nobody for my own. To call my own. I'm so lonely. I miss the lonely. I have nobody for my own. To call my own. I am so lonely. So lonely. It's the lonely. So lonely. Oh, so lonely. So lonely. So lonely. So lonely. Mr. Lonely.
All right. So that's that. So yeah, I usually record that. I stopped my recording there. And you'll see in that the hammer-ons didn't appear. I'm done here. I close this off now. You'll see that the hammer-ons didn't appear there because of the autoplay. But the character animations and lights were auto-generated, which is cool. The lip syncing isn't perfect since I just auto-converted the vocals to DriveVox in this step here by right-clicking this and doing convert vocal stem to DriveVox. But if you sing it yourself and put the WAV file here in 16-bit PCM mono, then it'll be a little bit more cleaned up, or if you do it manually. Also in that preview, you can choose the characters that you want, the lane styles, and customize it. Or you can fix the audio when the overdrive goes off because it can kind of distort things there. But that's it. The RB3 that you generated can go on the Xbox now, as it could have before I even tested it, and you could play test it on there or your device, and have fun testing it out. Share it on Rhythmverse. Now, if you want to do chorus encore, or you want to do it in Guitar Hero format, I'll show you here. You're going to use Onyx to cross convert it, so you're going to load the song that we have earlier. And now I haven't done this before, so take this with a grain of salt, but I'm assuming you just go to Clone Hero and just press create the song folder, and it's going to create it, or this one. I've done this in the reverse with other ones, so I know that it's most likely going to work this way too. So this is a pretty awesome tool you can use to cross convert things to different formats. Just know that with RB3 cons, like in YARG, you're not going to have a video preview file, whereas if you can put like a MP4 of the music video into the folder if you do it in this folder format, which is kind of cool. But then you won't have like the venue animations that Rock Band has specifically. It's going to be different. The way they do their venue animations and lighting is different. I don't know. This video only covers Rock Band 3 and YARG type stuff. All right, so that's that. Any other videos after this? This is the last video in the series, but there's going to be more that talk about harmonies or the venue, character animations and lighting, and keyboard, and then anything else I can think of in other videos after that. But if you made it this far, congrats, and I hope you enjoyed the guide, and I hope you enjoy charting songs. I wish you the best.